Recording in progress.
All rise for the flag salute. I
But it's of the United States of America and to the republic that is one nation under God, indivisible, for all.
introduction to the board, starting with the ball.
Allison.
Jeff Randy. Jeff Michael.
Marie Tooney.
Randy Carmody.
Appreciate your.
Aaron Bear. There's no agenda revisions this evening. Approval of the board meeting minutes from December 11th.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Student representative report. Christian. You can come up to the podium.
All right, hi, my name is Christian Na, and I'm a junior and an ASB member. I would just like to say thank you for the opportunity to share an update from student leadership. Since we shared at the November board meeting, we wrapped up our canned food drive. Leadership students and key club members went over to St. Michael's Church the week before winter break to help out food boxes, or to help put food boxes together for local families. Our FFA also donated fruit for the food boxes. We also donated almost $700 to our Kiwanis. We have our winter formal in less than 2 weeks. We are looking forward to another great formal. That will be in the lower commons at Sandy High School. It's hard to believe we are only a few weeks from the end of the first semester. We are looking forward to future leadership events in spring, which include our annual Dornbecker fundraiser, prom, and our Decades Assembly. Thank you for the opportunity to share tonight.
Thank you very much. Superintendent's report, Mr. Bear.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this brief. I got a vocal cord issue that I'm trying to navigate. So, first things first, we've been talking about the facilities assessment for some time. We do have a draft. They've completed that work, so we'll address the needs of the facilities as per Silver Show's findings at our board workshop on January 18th. This is the first step in assessing our facilities and determining what it might cost to keep our facilities up and running. Modern standard, if you will, because we have a number of buildings that are in desperate need of the 21st century plumbing, mechanical, electrical upgrades. And then the next step will be a long range plan to decide where we go from there. If we need to do additions, if we need to look at alternative settings to educate students in based on the needs presented in this plan. Second thing is inclement weather. So we're prepared, as we always are. And I was hopeful that we wouldn't, everybody was saying it was going to be warm years. So, one of those, maybe, I don't know, nobody knows. And it looks as though this next few days could be dicey, the temperature up and down, but as you know, we have protocols in place, and so we're up early. And we'll do everything we can to ensure that our kids remain safe. As you know, 1 year we had 15 snow days. And on some of those days, other folks decided to hold class. We didn't, and we saw that there was some mayhem on the roads. And I would rather forfeit a day of school and compromise one student on one bus one time in a ditch, so. That's kind of my take on it. That's the perspective we'll continue to use moving forward. And just make sure everybody's safe during this time. That includes the adults. Smart, a guy that decided to drive in some ice about a year and a half ago and rode his truck pretty bad. Yeah, that guy.
I do.
Yeah.
Feeling for him.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a new truck too. I loved it. I mean, I got it back. But it's a lot of damage. So, and then this is board appreciation month. So we do want to recognize and honor our school board members, navigating public education and the issues there in the 21st century. I think it's proven to be most difficult, and there are a lot of inconveniences, I think, that come with the socio-political landscape that is public education. These folks do this work for free. They do it because they have a genuine desire to see kids succeed. They have done, I think, a phenomenal job over the years, making sure that our staff have what they need in modest, I guess, increments. Never really chasing the highs and lows, but really keeping our district going in the right direction, in a direction that oftentimes finds the state on a bit of a different path financially, academically, and from just a strictly educational perspective. So I value what they bring. My hope is that you also value what they bring. It's an opportunity this month. Hopefully it'll be every month to honor their commitment, their dedication to our students, to our community, and to you, and doing everything you can to try to maintain what public ed was intended to be at its inception, and continue to try to preserve democracy through a very neutral perspective is not easy. And so I appreciate each of you for that. Even Paula's brand new. I appreciate Paula for that. I've known Paula for a long time. She's been in our district for a long time. Marjan, I think, is maybe with us online, and she too. So thank you to our school board for everything you've done for our district, for what you do to try to keep our team intact. That includes classified, certified admin team. It's a very noble cause, and there's very little reward in it. So I do appreciate you, and hopefully our folks will appreciate you as well.
Thank you. Any questions? Moving on to the citizens agenda, we have 3 minutes that you can speak. Just as a reminder, we'll take your comments under advisement, but we don't necessarily respond at the meeting without preparation. So Jessica. Yeah.
My name is Jessica. My daughter attends Sandy and was enrolled in the year-long class titled Health Without a Choice for sophomores. I have put a great deal of trust in this school, but I have found out quite by accident of the highly inappropriate, not age-appropriate, and frankly warped content in this class. I requested from a school official to email me the class content on this ridiculous subject I learned was being taught, called transgender health. What I received was only some subject topics as follows: growth, development, sexual health, puberty, gender identity, sexual orientation. Describe factors that influence sexual development, sexual relationships, and sexual behaviors. Explain the role of the endocrine system in adolescent development. Identify individual differences in gender identity. I'm not making this up. Subsequently, I then made another request for the actual subject content of what was being taught in detail and was told, no, we will not send you that. Despite the fact that I'm a parent, a taxpayer, and a rightfully concerned parent, my child has never even been in a sexual situation. She's an innocent, impressionable 15-year-old, as most are, and is just a country kid and the topics listed are highly inappropriate and disturbing, to put it nicely, such as normalizing non-binary, transgender, gender neutral, pangender, genderqueer, two-spirit, third gender, and none or a combination of these. It is our job as parents to teach and discuss when appropriate, not a publicly funded high school, a place to describe, educate, and normalize, for example, men who claim they are women or people who are sexually deviant or confused. What kind of justification is being exercised that thinks a child needs to learn about abnormal sexuality and deviant gender identities, which seem to be expanding by the day? This is more than wrong, and I suspect if most Sandy parents were actually aware of this content, you would have a mutiny on your hands. Secondly, Sandy High School policy is that a boy who simply claims he is a female is allowed to use the private spaces of actually biological female students. He is allowed in the private bathrooms and locker rooms with no consideration for the emotional and physical well-being of real girls. When I asked what is done when girls are made uncomfortable, felt unsafe, or felt threatened by a biological male with a penis, a boy brain, and male hormones in their space, I was informed the girls would be told to take their belongings themselves and find other accommodations, as if there are other locker rooms or showers or bathrooms which are close enough where the girls can still make it to class on time or take a shower or undress to change. I was also informed that the real girls would be offered counseling if need be to deal with the situation if necessary. But no effort for counseling is provided for the individual that literally thinks they were born in the wrong body and feel they need the need to invade spaces of the opposite sex and or are suffering from great confusion. I think this is unacceptable. The biological girls are forced to move from their rightful private space while a biological male is welcomed by the school to remain in that space. I offer to you that this is warped thinking and warped reasoning. Perhaps a gender neutral bathroom or a trans identified bathroom and locker room needs to be provided, as this seems the only acceptable space for those identifying with these confused identities. And where does it really end? Do we need to wait until there is an assault or something else? I've learned that the high school also supports and affirms students who identify as cats, for example, if that was the case. I don't understand why the school has no exercise in discernment of what is necessary and what is extraneous and has no place in a school. It seems the school is more concerned with not questioning these absurd identities, but not with harming the comfortability and safety of biological females. I think Sandy High School has the obligation to disclose to unwitting parents that this inappropriate, borderline grooming content is being taught under the guise of health class, and that their daughters are not necessarily safe in their own school because the policies in place are protecting the wrong people, making girls vulnerable and sexualizing students before they are ready or able. Thank you.
Can you make sure that Tricia has your contact information so we can get more?
I think I have a little card that I printed.
Yep, you do. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
We appreciate the comments. Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving on to certified staff.
Good evening. We hope everyone had an enjoyable and restful holiday and break. Since we are just coming back from said break, we don't have a lot to report yet. It's hard to believe we're almost halfway through the school year. I wrote that before the student rep said that, so I'm not talking to him. As we head deeper into January, educators are preparing for end of semester assessments, grades, and report cards. For many of us, that can be a hectic and busy time, so we are appreciative of grading days and teacher work days that allow us to complete these tasks accurately, thoughtfully, and in a way that provides families with meaningful feedback about their students' education. And in conclusion, let it snow.
So we get to play.
Yeah, it's fun.
I assume there's no very classified staff or consent agenda. I'll entertain the motion to approve the consent agenda. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Action item, student investment package.
I concur with my own self.
Hey.
I have a long history of that.
It's gonna snow, it's gonna flip, so there's no doubt whether we need to close.
Fair. I like it whether it closes school or not. I just like the sound. Okay, so I think I have actually 3 short presentations for you. It's kind of hard to move up here, sorry. The first one, I'm here on behalf of Rachel George, who could not be here tonight, for your student investment grant agreement. Ultimately, I'm seeking approval of the SIA grant agreement. As you know, and in your packet, the Student Investment Act process works a lot with ODE to co-develop longitudinal performance targets. Those are the LPGT that they talk about in your packet. And around page 23, you gotta get that far to start seeing like what are we really saying that our goals are, et cetera. That's where it really starts talking about what are our goals over time in relation to graduation rate, 5-year cohort, in on track. 5-year graduation for new students who don't make it for 9th grade on target, 3rd grade readings, and the regular attendance for all students. So those are our goals. So ultimately we work with ODE on these targets. They vet those. Yes, this looks reasonable over time, but we still need to bring that to you guys for acceptance of that agreement. So that's why I'm here to request approval of that grant agreement.
Any questions for Kim on the SIA agreement? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Information SIA annual report.
Okay, so I have 2 more pieces, and maybe OGD will get all these together in one, so we don't do these separate, but right now they are not. So the next one is I'm bringing as part of that overall SIA student investment account process, bringing you a brief update. It's like an annual update will come to you. And there were really 4 questions that the ODE asked. And so I can give you some of the highlights for what we shared with them. We've implemented our SIA plan. We've seen increasing math and language arts pass rates in elementary. That's kind of the focus there. And secondary, we are pressing on earning credits that support on-time education, right? Starting even in middle school. That's not just a high school endeavor. We continue to work with our current staff filling positions and continue to seek other qualified individuals, not only for SIA, but for all positions. That can be a challenging process, and it makes us all the more thankful for the employees that we do have. They're working so hard for kids. We continue to grow in our communication, collaboration, and partnerships. We're strengthening our CTE programs in high school and in middle school, which will really hone in on graduation to those students. And we continue with elementary, really working hard with literacy and math, getting those skills where they need to be. We are aligned with ODE's focus on 3rd grade literacy, graduation rates, and also the press on 9th grade on track and attendance. So that's in alignment with what ODE wants for us. So I wanted to share that information with you. That includes that information.
Any questions for Kim on the annual report?
Okay, so this is really usually Tim would share this information with you, and this is where we have an annual audit, and it comes back lovely because Tim and his team do an exemplary job. But in regards to SIA, we need to really call out SIA. This is one of the requests of ODE. So from Holly Rogers, you'll see in your packet, and company, the district received an unqualified opinion. That's good. That means that there are no material qualifications or variances or problems with the audit. The district had a clean opinion on all audit matters, which includes the SIA budget, and that's what I need to let you know that SIA audit was good and clean as well, which also probably comes as no surprise because Tim and team are all over making sure we do exactly what we need to do in relation to our finances, whether those are grant or general fund. So that kind of concludes that financial activity.
Any questions for Kim? Thank you very
Thank
much.
you guys so much.
Moving on to announcements, January 18th, we have a board workshop here at 6:30. Just to note, it was a week following, but there was a conflict. So we got moved to January 8th, so you want to make a note on your calendar. February 6th is the OTA board meeting, and February 12th is the next board meeting. And we are going to recess and reconvene an executive session in about 10 minutes.